Joining me now is DA leader John Steenhuisen. Firstly, let's go to the Government of National Unity. Did you have any influence in how this mini budget was drafted?
Well, of course. I mean, we've got a Deputy Minister of Finance who's been working very closely with Minister Gondongwana in this. But I mean, I think it is a collective reflection of the priorities of the Government of National Unity and a good precursor to the medium-term development plan that will come out in January. And I commend Minister Gondongwana for the right diagnosis, but now also giving us the right remedy for that diagnosis. And I think that I'm very excited about us taking these first tentative steps onto a new path of fiscal responsibility and hopefully growth and jobs for more South Africans as a result thereof.
Government debt remains a headache for the Finance Minister. Are you happy with the plans that he's come up with in terms of addressing this debt?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're going to see if we meet the targets, if we maintain the discipline, if we keep the fiscal and anchor that debt, then what we're going to be able to do is to see debt to GDP at around 70%, which is similar to our peer countries, by 2030. And I think that's where we need to be targeting. We cannot continue with runaway debt. I'm also particularly pleased that we're moving from consumption spending to spending on investment and in infrastructure that's going to return greater income for South Africa. And of course, as a Minister of Agriculture, delighted about the interventions around structural reforms on rail and also on the Cape Town port. Very, very important for the agricultural sector of the country.
Is there something for the poor in this budget framework, given the high cost of living in the country at the moment?
Well, I think you're going to see that in more granular detail when the medium-term development plan comes around. We've already been speaking about mechanisms to reduce the cost of food and the cost of living. It's got way too high. But remember, growth is the rising tide that lifts all boats. And the biggest beneficiary of that growth will be poor South Africans who are unemployed, because the more growth you have, the more jobs you have, and the more people get into employment, and the more people you lift out of poverty. And so the growth agenda, the growth and jobs agenda, and the anti-poverty agenda has to make sure that we have to maintain discipline on that path to be able to make sure we hit those goals. We have to get more people into work. The only way we do that is getting our economy running.